Hello friends, welcome to my video. Today I am going to talk about the differences between constant and read-only variable in C#. These two are used to make a variable constant of which the value cannot be modified. We'll discuss when and why to choose which one, as it all depends on the situation, usability and location to access. So before we get started, just a quick reminder to subscribe my channel, hit the red button and don't forget to click on the little bell icon. That way you will be notified every time I upload a new video. Okay, without any further delay, let's get started. Constants, that is const in C sharp. What is const in C sharp? Constants are immutable values that are known at compile time and do not change for the life of the program. The constants are declared with the const modifier, const. If we want to declare a variable with a fixed value at the time of declaration, then we can use the const keyword. Okay, if you see the example shown over here, I have written public const int days in week equal to 7. So here what I am doing, here I have created a variable named days in week with fixed value as 7 and marked it with the const modifier. So once we define the constant, its value won't get changed throughout the program as it is baked in the IL code during compilation time itself. So that's the way how we are going to declare the constant. We can also declare multiple constant. If you see this example shown over here, I have declared two constants, weeks and months, and I set the value as 52 and 12 respectively. That's how we declare the multiple constants. So public const int weeks is equal to 52, comma, months is equal to 12 and semicolon. So that's the way how we are going to declare multiple constant. We can also declare the constant with constant, and that's what I have written. Public const int c1 is equal to 10, public const int c2 is equal to c1 plus 20, and in c2 values I have written c1 plus 20. So that's a valid to write like this. Okay, now we understood what is const in C#. Okay, let's focus on the important points about the constant, that is the const. Okay, number one, constant value is required to give at the declaration itself, as const is a compile time constant. If you see this example shown over here, we need to have this value at the time of the declaration itself. That is the requirement of the constant. Okay, so that's what this statement indicate for. Constant value is required to give at declaration itself, as const is a compile time constant. Okay, number two, value is evaluated at compile time and backed up in IL. If you see this example, days in week is equal to 7, I have defined this constant over here. So during compilation, it is going to get backed up into the IL code. So throughout the program, it is not going to get changed, and that's what it is written over here. This statement, value is evaluated at compile time and backed up in the IL. Number three, constant can have any access modifier. Here if you see, I have used public access modifier. Instead of public access modifier, we could use private or protected internal based upon the requirement. Okay, so that's a valid to write. So constant can have any access modifier. Okay, number four, constants are accessed as if they were static fields without creating instances. So for accessing the constant, we don't need to create an instance of the class. We can directly use it class name dot constant name, and we are able to access the value of the constant. So that's what this fourth statement is saying. Number fifth, constants can be used to calculate the constant. If you see this example shown over here, where we have declared the constant with the constant, here in the C2 constant, I am using C1 plus 20. So basically this C1 plus 20 calculation is happening for the C2 values, and that's what this statement is for. Constants can be used to calculate the constants. Read-only in C#. What is read-only in C#? A read-only variable is similar to a constant, but we can assign the value either at the time of declaration or in the constructor. Let's consider that we don't know the value at the time of declaration, but we will come to know at the time of creating the object. In this case, we can use read-only. Okay, let's understand with the help of example shown over here. So there is a class named program. It has a read-only variable. That's what I have written, public read-only a string country. So here I have not assigned any value to it because we don't know what the value needs to be assigned for this country as of now. Okay. And there is a constructor program. Here we are accepting country of the string data type, and then I am assigning this parameter value to this read only variable, and that's what I have written, country is equal to country. And if you see, there is a method change country, and here I have written country is equal to United States. But if you notice, I have just commented that if we uncomment this, it will throw the compile time error. What errors could be? Error would be a read-only field cannot be assigned to except in a constructor or init-only setter of the type in which the field is defined or a variable initializer. So we can have this, read-only assignment in the constructor itself or at the declaration time itself, where we have, mentioned this read-only variable. So in these two places, we can have this read-only assignment, right? In any other place, it is not allowed. If we write like this, we end up getting this compile time error. Okay, now we understood what is the read only, where we need to declare, where we need to assign the value, right? Two places we need to declare and assign. Either we can go for this places where we have this declare, or we can do assignment as well. And the another place is we can have this constructor where we are going to assign the value. Only these two places we can assign the value. So keep in mind. Now let's focus on the important points about the read only. Number one, read-only value is evaluated at runtime. So this value is going to get considered at the runtime only. Okay, not at the compile time. So that is number one point. Number two, read-only can be either initialized in the declaration or in the constructor. As I discussed, we can declare or initialized at the declaration itself or in the constructor itself. And third one is a read-only field can't be assigned after the constructor exists. Once this construction processing is done, we cannot assign the value to the read-only variable. Just keep in mind. So that is the number 3 point. Number 4, read-only constants can have any access modifier. Here I have used public access modifier. Instead of public access modifier, we could use private, protected internal based upon our requirement. Okay, so that's what this statement is saying. Read-only constant can have any access modifier. Okay, number 5. Read-only property can be changed by using reflection. Let's suppose read-only properties we have assigned, okay, but we can change it with the help of reflection. We will see this example, okay, how we can do that. Now let's switch to the Visual Studio and see all these things in action. So here we are on Visual Studio. Here we are going to see the demo of the const keyword uses, okay. So for that, I have created one console application, const versus read-only demo, and here we have program.cs file. So here we have two classes under this namespace const versus read-only demo. So there is a class named program and another class named my class. In my class, we have one const variable where I have assigned value Ravi to my constant. Okay. Now in this program class, we have another constant that is the days in week, and which is of the indata type, where I have assigned the value as a 7. And I have also declared multiple constants. So public const int weeks is equal to 52 and months is equal to 12. And also I have declared the constant with the constant. So if you see here, constant c1 is equal to 10, and then we have the another constant c2 is equal to c1 plus 20. So c2 value is getting derived with c1 plus 20. Okay, so that is the two constants c1 and c2 over here. Now there is a main method which is an entry point of this application. Here what I'm doing, I'm just going to write this statement, console.write my constant value. So my constant, basically it is mentioned into this class, my class. So whenever we are going to access the my constant value, so we need to access with the help of class name. That's what I have written, my class.my constant. And once the value we are going to get it, then we are going to print it into this console window via this statement. Okay. In this next statement, what I have done, I have written days in a week accessing using program.days in week. Even though I have written this days in week constant into this program itself, but I just want to show you this way also we can access. Like we have different class altogether, and inside this another class we are using my class.my constant. So here also we can write my program.days in week. That is the one way. Okay, but usually we don't write because this is constant is a part of this class itself. We can write like this only. Instead of putting this class name dot days in week, we can directly write days in week. It is valid. It is going to get printed this statement, and that's what I have written, console.writeline days in a week accessing using days in week without class name. Then I have mentioned this days in week. It is possible because this statement is written inside the same class method. Okay. Next statement, I am printing weeks and months. And that's what I have written these two statements. If you see here, the constant c1 and c2 I have also declared. So that's what also I am printing over here. Console.writeline c1, c2 is equal to c2. If you notice, c2 value is getting derived with c1 plus 20. So ideally it should be C1, that is 10, and 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. So even though the constant, we are using constant with the constant, it's a valid to write. And that's what we could be able to see this output of this C2 variable getting printed into this console window as a 30. Let's suppose I just want to, modify this days in week, and I just want to put it into 10. Okay. But if you see, that is the red mark over here. What is saying? The left hand side of assignment must be a variable, property, or indexer. Here I have defined this days in week as a constant. So that's what it's not allowed. Once it is assigned over here, we cannot assign any other places throughout the program. This is not a valid to write. So we need to remove it. Okay. So it's basically at the compile time itself, it is giving me indication, okay, the way that we have written, that the way we are assigning this days in week value, it is not proper. And that's what the compiler complained. And with the help of complaint, you will come to know, okay, that is not a way, because this is the constant variable. We cannot assign it again. Okay. So now let me execute this program and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window. And if you see, the first one, my constant value Ravi, got printed, because in the another class I have defined this const, my constant is equal to Ravi, and here in this statement what I'm doing, I'm just printing this my constant value, my class dot my constant, and so this value got printed, my constant value Ravi. Similarly, the next statement, days in a week accessing using program days dot week, I have written program dot days in week. Program dot days in week, it is nothing but this constant variable, right? So the value got 7 printed, and here without the class name I'm printing this days in week, and it is possible to write because this statement we have written inside this main method, which is a part of this class program. So it's valid to write like this, and that's what this got printed as a 7 for this statement also. Now the weeks and months I got printed because I have declared as a part of this constant assignment itself. Okay, so weeks 52 and months 12 got printed. And if you see here, C1 is equal to 10, C1 10 is got printed. But if you notice C2 is getting derived from C1 plus 20. Here C1 value is 10 and 10 plus 20 is equal to 30, and that's what the C2 value, the 30 value is getting printed for C2, right? So that's way how we are going to use this constant in a program. Here we are going to see the demo of the read-only variable in C#, how we can use it. Okay, so there is a namespace const versus read-only demo, and I have used using declaration over here. Now there are two classes under this namespace, class program and class my class. If you notice this class my class, right? So here we have the read-only variable mentioned over here. So public read-only a string country is equal to India. If you notice, I have declared and assigned the value at the declaration part itself. That is the first place to declare and assign the value to the read-only variable in the declaration itself. Okay. Now there is another read-only variable, and I have just declared it. I have not assigned any value to it. That's what I have written, public read-only a string game. And there is a constructor my class. Here we are accepting the game of a string data type, okay, as a parameter value, and then I am assigning to the read-only variable game. So game is equal to game. That is the second place to assign the value to the read-only variable. Okay. Now there is a class named program. Under that there is a main method, which is an entry point of this application. So here what I'm doing, I'm just printing this statement that I'm giving the demo of the read-only variable in C#. And then for accessing the read-only variable, we need to use the instance of the class. And that's what I have created, this instance of this my class. And here, while creating the my class instance, I have passed this parameter value to the constructor. So what value I have put it over there? Hockey. So as a game, I'm just passing the hockey value to it into this constructor of my class. Okay. So that's what my class obj my class is equal to new my class hockey. And then I'm just going to access this game read-only variable, right? So I'm just printing game obj my class dot game, and then I'm just going to access this country read-only variable also. So obj my class dot country. So these value game and country I'm printing into this console window with the help of console dot write line statement. So that's way how we are going to access this read-only variable. We need to access with the help of instance of the class. So that's what this instance, with the help of instance, I'm just going to access this variable of the read-only. Okay. Let me execute this and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window, and this first statement got printed demo of read-only variable in C# and game hockey and country is equal to India, right? So that's what I just wanted to achieve it, and that's what it got printed into this console window, right? So obj myclass.game, it got printed gay hockey, and obj myclass.country, it got printed India, because India we have assigned the value at the declaration part itself. Okay, and I'm accessing this country with the help of class instance, right? So that's what the country India got printed and game hockey got printed. So that's the demo of the read-only variable in the C#. Now we are going to see the demo of the changing the read-only variable value using the reflection, how we can do that. So for that I have created one console application, and then there is a class named my class that has this declaration of the read-only property, and I have mentioned private read-only string country is equal to United States, and there is a method public string get country. So basically it is returning the country that is the value of this read-only variable. Okay, now there is another class named program that has main method, which is an entry point of this application. So here I've just printed demo of changing the read-only variable value using reflection, because I'm just giving the demo for this. Okay, now for using the reflection I have added this namespace using system.reflection, so that I can use its classes and methods for accessing this my class read-only value. So now I have created an instance of this my class, and that's what I have written: my class obj my class is equal to new my class. Then I just printed the current value of the read only. The current value is United States, so it should get printed via this statement. The console.writeLine current country read only value obj my class dot get country, this one. So I have created this instance, and with the help of this instance I am accessing this method get country. So this get country will get invoked and then return the country, and that country is nothing but the United States at this point of the time. Okay, so it will get printed United States for this statement. Okay, now I am using the reflection for getting this field. That's what I have written: type, which type I'm going to access, the my class. So the type of my class will be giving this my type, my class type, and then in this type I'm just going to get the field. What is the field name? This is the country, right? And then I have mentioned binding flag instance, binding flags none public. Okay, so this value will give the field information. So that's what field info. I have created a variable and I have assigned this value to it, and once we have this value I am just asking user to please enter the country value into this console window. Okay, and whatever the value they are entering I am capturing with the help of console.readLine, and then storing into this variable str user enter country of the string data type. Okay, so this variable will hold the value entered by the user as a country for the country. Okay, now what I'm doing, I'm just checking and assigning the default value if null value from the user. So what I'm doing, str user enter country, this is the variable where we having the user entered value. I'm checking whether it's empty or not. If it is empty I'm just going to print no value. If it is not empty I'm just going to consider this str user enter country variable where we have the user entered value, and then I'm assigning again into this variable itself, and then I'm checking field info is not equal to null, and then field info dot set value obj my class and str user enter country. Here what I'm doing, I'm assigning the value of this str user enter country to the field. What is the field? We have field identified the country, right? So this country is nothing but the read only variable. So read only variable I am assigning this user enter value. Okay, that's what I call this field info dot set value obj my class str user enter country, and then I'm accessing this get country method with the help of obj my class, because I have already set the value. I just want to fetch what is the value was set, and then I'm just going to print it into this console window. So that's a statement is just going to get execute current country read only value assigned by the user using reflection. So obj my class dot get country, so it will just print this country value, okay, via this method. So get country, it will return this country, and that country I'm just going to receive it over here, and then I'm just going to print it over here, right? So that's the way how we are going to access the read-only variable and assign the read-only variable using the reflection. Okay, let me execute this and see the output. Okay, so output got appear into this console window, demo of changing the read-only variable value using reflection. And now the current country read-only value is United States. It is asking me, please enter the country value. Let's say I just put India as a country, new value, right? And then I just click enter. So it is just going to call this get country method and then fetch this India value for this particular read-only variable. So read-only variable got set via this reflection. I'm just going to get the value and print into this console window, and that's what this value got printed. Current country read-only value assigned by user using reflection, that is the India, that got printed. That's how we are going to change the read-only variable value using reflection. Const versus read-only in C#. So here we are going to discuss about the difference between const and read-only in C#. Number one, constant. Constant is defined with the help of const keyword. So const is a compile time constant. In other words, the const value is evaluated at compile time and backed up in the IL code. Whereas read-only is a runtime constant. The read-only value is evaluated at runtime. That is the first difference. Number two, value of the const variable needs to be assigned at declaration time itself. So that is the requirement for the const. Okay, whereas value of the read-only variable can be assigned either at the time of declaration or in the constructor. So there are two places in which we can assign value to read-only variable, at the time of declaration and in the constructor itself. Number three, const value cannot be changed once it is declared. Even reflection cannot change the const value. So that is very, very important for the constant. Whereas read-only property can be changed by using reflection. We have already seen how we are going to change the value of the read-only, right? With the help of reflection. So that is the important point. Number four, when we know the fixed value at the compile time, we use the const keyword. Whereas we can use read-only also when we are aware of the fixed value at the compile time. But as best practices, we should use const instead. So that's the difference between the const and read-only in C#. Now that brings me to end of my session. To sum up, in this video we show what const and read-only variables are and when and how to use them, and finally we discussed about their differences. That's all for this video, guys. If you like this video, hit the like button, share it with your friends and colleagues, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done already. Thanks for watching. See you next video.